on that game.
When you beat a team like you guys beat them last time, do you have to remind your guys that you got to be just as focused going in as any other game?
I think you've been through this enough now, not only 60 games this year, but through the years that you know each game's its own entity. You've got to play well to have a chance to win. They're much different. Lopez wasn't playing as much. No Otto Porter, no Chris Dunn. That team just looks a lot different with all those guys on the court. And they're playing really well. Those last few games that they played, including last night's, was a heck of a win. And so, we know we have to play well. And our focus is on us trying to be, continuing to make the right strides.
3-2 since adding Porter to their lineup. What have you seen from film, what he's brought to them?
Yeah, so, it's like I told our guys today. I think that there were maybe a shot or two that we've seen him pass up in the past. He's taking. He's very aggressive off dribble handoffs, very aggressive out of the pick and roll, playing a lot more pick and roll than he did in Washington. Just being, again, ultra aggressive, and he's looked good. He's been a good addition, and I think from everything you hear will be, he's a good pro and does all the right stuff, and I'm sure adds great things to their locker room.
Okay, most important part of where the Celtics are right now, you see 3, 4, 5, that log jam between the Pacers, 76ers, and the Celtics, looking for home court advantage in the playoffs. And who you face in that first round, particularly that 4 and 5 spot. How do you see it working out for the Celtics, where they are now and where they could be at the end of the season?
I think they're going to be in the mix. My question, though, is how deep in the mix? We know what the team did last year, right, without their 2 stars. So my question for you, Tough Juice, is that as Boston gets close to the end of the season, where does Kyrie need – the key for me is where does Kyrie need to be as a leader? Because we saw last year this young team went further than most people thought. Brad Stevens was able to push the right buttons and plug and play all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? But then when you got to the Eastern Conference Finals, you needed that dude. Kyrie's that dude. Mm-hmm. The question, though, mentally, how can Kyrie be that dude and those young guys continue to flourish and play with confidence and believe in all the things they did last year wasn't a fluke? So I'm not questioning is the team talented enough. I'm no longer questioning are they deep enough. I love Brad Stevens as a coach. So now you have Brad Stevens, you didn't make any trades, and we saw this team go so far, and you needed that dude. So I come back full circle again. Is Kyrie ready from a leadership standpoint to take this team to the next level?
Well, you look at last season, I felt like they was literally 4 minutes away from going to the finals. Mm-hmm. And LeBron put that cape on and took Cleveland there. So with that being said, now you know that you have the ultimate closer in a guy like Kyrie Irving. And I think he has to somewhat take a page out of Kyle Lowry's book, regress from the scoring standpoint, and just kind of flourish in being a facilitator and, enhancing all the people around you. And I think that, once the playoff comes, that's the new season, you just be the ultimate closer. People know and understand your value to this team. They understand that you're one of the short lists of guys that play at a high level. You guys are 7.5 games back right now. You're going to finish somewhere between 3 and 5. So that will possibly give you home court, particularly in the first round. And you see that play right there.
That's the potential game winning last night against the Bucks.
One of the best finishers in all of basketball without the dunk. You saw Giannis. You saw Eric Bledsoe, Chris Middleton in the picture. So I saw 4 individuals from the Bucks in that particular picture, and then I saw someone naked to the left. I think that was Jason Tatum. And
Jason Tatum was on the right.
That was Al Horford.
That was Al
Horford to the left, Tatum
to the right. Point, Jason Tatum, who came up big in the playoffs last year for the Celtics, he was standing in the corner, not a part of that play.
But open.
So for the Celtics, in order for them to grow, do they need more? You see Jason Tatum in the corner in the right.
I got one better for you. No, the ball should really nitpick. The ball should went to Al Horford.
Immediately.
Okay.
Because the play before that, they ran the 3, and Al Horford got the 3 to tie the game up. So if you want to nitpick, and that's why I keep saying leadership. I know this man can score with the best of them. So now, remember when early in LeBron's career we said LeBron's making the right play too much?
Every time.
He should shoot the ball more. That was a prime example where Kyrie came off the play before, threw it back to Al Horford, hit the three, everyone goes crazy. Now, Kyrie, same situation. He wants to be the hero. I'm not mad at it. But when you go back and look at the play, and we sat there in the film session, what are you looking at? You're like, yo,
dang.
Yo, didn't Al just make that three this possession before?
Yeah, when you're in the dark in the film room, somebody, hey, Coach, put the flashlight on me. Put the light on me real quick. And I think that's why OKC is so good this year, because Russell Westbrook understands the importance of having that other guy. And I think Kyrie has to understand, and I think he's so comfortable in who he is. He's a star. He's a superstar. He's box office.
Yes.
But in order for him to get over the hump with this young team, which personalities and things are, pretty much all over the place, but he has to understand that, look, they've developed and now you're asking them to pull back and regress, and that's something difficult for young guys to do, especially in contracts years and things like that. His value is already where his value is going to be. He's in a win-win situation. All he has to do is be healthy and available. So now to get over that hump, just close. In the playoffs, be the ultimate closer, and everybody wins.
He certainly fit that role well in Cleveland with LeBron. His former teammate, Kyrie Irving's former teammate LeBron, in action right now for the Lakers against the Pelicans. And, of course, he's making plays in the first quarter. Lakers ahead 1. LeBron a little give-and-go, ball fake, and that's a walk-in bucket. We got a tie game, no Anthony Davis for the Pelicans, 33-33.
I never really talk about officiating or anything like that, but just rude and arrogant. You aren't able to talk to him throughout the course of a game. And it's like, how do you build that relationship with officials? So, and it's not even that call. Like, it's just, who he is on that floor. It's pretty frustrating. And and I'm probably gonna get hit, but honestly, I don't really say anything. I'm probably a pretty quiet guy to myself, but it's one of those things where you can't voice your opinion. You can't have a conversation with someone that's officiating the game, and you're getting attacked. It's pretty sad.
Chris had similar comments about Foster last year. Do you feel
that's another thing. Last year in the postseason, in the Western Conference Finals, I think he officiated a couple of our games, and it's lingering, and it's something that has to be looked at for sure.
Do you feel like it's a personal issue?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, it's personal. For sure. Like, I don't think he should be able to even, officiate our games anymore, honestly.
James Harden referring to Scott Foster, and according to Shams Charania, James Harden has to pay for those comments. He said, look, I expect to get hit in the wallet, $25,000 for criticizing one Scott Foster. The reigning MVP also out for tonight's game against the Golden State Warriors, set to tip off at 8:30. And so it's going to be a tough one for the Rockets to face the Warriors without the reigning MVP, James Harden. Let's welcome in Kelly Iko who covers the Rockets for The Athletic. James Harden, he was game time decision, out for this one, but really it didn't seem like there was a specific moment in which he got hurt against the Lakers. So when did he get hurt? What happened with his neck injury?
Coach D'Antoni said that he got hurt. He got hit in practice, and the next day his neck was kind of sore, and he also experienced some flu-like symptoms. So they thought that the best thing tonight was just hold him out, get some rest, and recuperate for next week's games.
Well, last year, Chris Paul was able to play at an MVP level when James Harden was hurt or was out. Have those expectations changed a bit for Chris Paul? I know he's suffered through his own injuries so far this season and hasn't necessarily seemed like he's been 100% at any point.
I think Chris would be the last guy that you would want to tell that he's, his game has kind of declined. And after coming back from the injuries, his game has started to pick up a bit. He's looking more like the player they saw last season and kind of the all-star guard that they need to stagger with James Harden and run the offense. And you're seeing as the games are heading towards the playoffs, he's looking more and more fresh, getting some spring under his legs and, shooting the ball much better than before.
Speaking of looking fresh, is that velvet you have on? Is that velvet?
It's not players only, but, I have to do a little something.
I like that. And one last thing, my earpiece, you sound like Biggie Smalls a little bit, too. Has anyone ever told you that? Huh? Come on now.
Hey, yeah.
I like that. Okay, all right. Now back to the good stuff. Now, with all this with James Harden, is this something that he could use, the Rockets could use? Because let's face it, until they really get their mojo going on both ends of the floor, we're not going to take them serious of getting back to the Western Conference Finals.
I think the problem with that is they would prefer to play the Warriors 82 times a season because, as you can see, this is the game that they get up the most for, they have the most focus for. They feel like they're the biggest rivals. And being a veteran team, you kind of don't want to go through the drags of the regular season. You want to play the Warriors. You want to skip to the playoffs, but you have to play during the season. And you're seeing that for them, this kind of the game where they have to, turn everything up a little bit more. But they have a will and a desire, even with the injuries, even with the slow start, that when they get things together and they can gel, that they don't care the seating and the standings, they're just going to be able to play.
Caron Butler here. What are you looking forward to seeing from the Rockets in particular tonight without James Harden out there? Because I know point of emphasis, let's face it, to keep the streak going, to keep it alive. And now you see the team as a whole out there being able to be the best possible version of themselves. What are you looking forward to seeing out of them?
The defense. Last season they were in the top 10 in defense and defensive rebounding, and this season they're, I think, 25th in defensive rating, and they're last place giving points in the paint and 28th in rebounding. And for a team that has championship aspirations, you're not going to get there with those kind of rankings. So I'm looking to see, a tough crowd on the road. You came after an emotional loss. How do you bounce back? You're playing against the best team in basketball for the last couple of years. Now you're seeing a new dimension with DeMarcus Cousins. How do you handle that? Are you going to, step to the challenge even without James Harden, or are you going to fold and run? So I'm looking for that.
Kelly Iko from The Athletic. I think we have a new nickname for you, and I think it's Biggie Velvet.
Ooh,
Kelly, man.
Are you accepting that?
Baby,
Because I think
Velvet
it's
Jones. There it
Biggie
is.
Put the stamp on it. Put the stamp on it.
I like your style, bro.
I love it. And you
Thank
put
you.
in there
Keep
players
with it.
only, baby. There you go.
Thank you for your
Got to.
time, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Good stuff.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so much happening with the Rockets right now, but James Harden being out for tonight's game against the Warriors, I think it's a good litmus test to see where Chris Paul is. We know what he's been for his career, but we haven't really seen what his capabilities to the fullest extent this season because James Harden has been on this run, because Chris Paul has been hurt.
Yeah, the game is still the same. They're going to run a lot of pick and rolls, and having Capella back, tough juice, he's going to roll to the basket. It's guys like right there, it's Eric Gordon. Is he more animated tonight? What I mean by that, Chris, is is he looking for more shots? Are they running more offense for him? Does he get more opportunity to run the pick and roll knowing that there's no James Harden tonight? So that's why I agree with Kelly. Defensively, I want to see, do they still lock down? And you still have Chris Paul on the floor, so the ball still will be in someone's hands that knows how to facilitate.
Caron, do you like the way that they handled the Scott Foster situation? It seems like, look, James Harden is not exactly the most vocal guy as far as superstars are concerned. So to hear him voice his opinion on that, take the fine for his team and his teammates, and Chris Paul also got a tech that he felt he didn't deserve in the net game. Do you feel like that was the right way that they handled that?
Yeah, listen, when a quiet individual talks, everyone should listen. And I felt like he did a service to his team and to himself by, stepping out and saying and talking about some things that he wasn't comfortable with. He addressed it. He got hit. And like he said, I know I'm going to get hit. He got hit. It was coming. It was warranted. But at the same time, it may have been a lot of truth to what he was saying. And I think it's something that has to be addressed and just, reviewed and looked at. But most of all, I love collectively how the two leaders of that ball team, one being the president of the NBA Players Association and Chris Paul, they both got text in that moment. So you best believe it's going to be some momentum behind what was said and what was addressed.
Can I address something?
He gets his special camera.
My camera
3D
right here.
special camera time.
Hey, James Harden, I think Anthony Davis. Am I missing anybody? Who else got fined pretty heavy recently? All you guys have been getting fined heavily. Send half the money to me, and I'll talk for you, and I can cut you a discount. There you go. I'm done.
Oh.
I'm done. That was it.
Put my camera up.
You got a better discount? This is camera one.
Basically, what he just said is he got drip for sale.
There you go. So just send the money to me and we all good. And it's going to be a discount. So instead of $25,000, it's go $12,500. Cut it in half, baby.
That's a nice soft
That's a
discount.
nice, you know what
I
I'm
like
saying?
your style,
You see
bro.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't want it all.
No,
You just
I
want a
want-
little taste.
Man, I want
I think
half of it, man.
I think
That's
we need
all
to move
want.
on from this before we get a call from upstairs. Like, hey, Chris,
Hey, look, upstairs, look, man.
Make sure
I
you-
take you to
you hold
lunch
that
and
one
dinner,
down.